What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over several quick tips that will hopefully help you play better and win more in Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, comment down below what you think of this season thus far, and if you would like to use my creator code when getting the Season 3 Battle Pass or any other cosmetics in the shop, it is just Evolve Jake, like my channel name is, and I would much appreciate it. So, one of the biggest changes this season is going to be the new hero rank system, and I will probably make a video tomorrow morning entirely about these hero ranks. But in short, you get points for doing things like surviving storm circles, getting eliminations, turning sprites into the shrines, and eliminating NPCs. And then through these hero ranks, you're able to open the better chests and get more benefits from the boons. Basically, the boons level and scale with your hero rank. So the higher the rank, the more you're going to get out of the boon, or the better the effect is going to be. As I said, people make a big deal about this, but basically just play the game and survive, get eliminations, and you'll level the hero ranks up pretty easily. It isn't that difficult to level them, and the benefit is definitely worth doing. Before the season dropped, a lot of people thought this was going to increase your overall health. It does not do that. The benefits are pretty small, but it's definitely something that is worth, thinking about a little bit. One crazy change that happened this season that I'm sure some people are going to be happy about and a lot of people are going to be annoyed about is that the pickaxe trick that allowed you to damage enemy players in vehicles using your pickaxe has been completely patched. Towards the end of Season 2, it got partially patched to where it only worked with certain pickaxes. This season, it has been completely removed, so you can no longer do that to damage enemy players inside a car and hopefully force them out. The new Superhero Academy POI has a secret vault that you can open by completing the hero training, and this will grant you 3 rare chests. It's at the northeast edge of the POI. You go down into this little room, activate the hero training, and then you'll have to collect some coins and shoot some targets within the time limit to open up the room and get those 3 rare chests. This can be done very easily, very quickly, and the amount of loot you get from it is pretty surprising. So if you'd like landing at the Superhero Academy, I would definitely recommend taking advantage of this. There are also tier loot rooms in the Hero Academy that you need to be a certain hero rank to open. So there's a C tier room, a B tier room, and an A tier room. Each of these rooms has a hero chest inside. That is another benefit of the hero ranks, is that you're able to open the better hero chests, but you get the better hero chests in the room corresponding to the rank that you open it with. And then there are some items on the wall that you can purchase, and there isn't even a mythic hyperburst pistol that can be purchased in the A tier room. The dashes like we had in Chapter 5 from the Green Water or Cerberus Medallion are back, and you get them from using the orange sprite and then going in the area to get the dashes. So if you have one of these sprites, you basically are holding 12 dashes for yourself in your inventory. Or I guess, is it 3 uses? I guess you're holding 9 dashes. But either way, you have several dashes from these sprites, and if you can give it to your teammates as well if they're in the area of effect of the sprite. One difference between these dashes and what we had in Chapter 5 is that these dashes don't negate fall damage, so you can actually cause yourself fall damage with these dashes, and you do need to be somewhat mindful of that and cautious of it when using them. And to me, it definitely feels like they send you further than the dashes in Chapter 5 did, but this may just be, me not having had used them in a while. There's a new revolver weapon in the game where you have dual revolvers, and this weapon has an effect where you can slow down your own movement and basically dive with it. When doing this, you have constant first shot accuracy, so the weapon is incredibly accurate. And this slow-mo effect also counts as parkour for the augment that reloads your weapons based on parkour usage. So the magazine size of these revolvers is not that great, and you're going to be reloading a lot. But if you have that augment, and if you have that augment while S tier, you're basically going to be reloading them anytime you do this, so it's not going to be as much of a problem. And you can use the slow-mo effect from these revolvers to avoid fall damage. It doesn't completely just remove fall damage. It's not like if you use this, you're immune to fall damage. But you can basically reset the damage because you slow yourself down. And so if you jumped off a very tall building and then used the slow-mo effect before you hit the ground to reduce your momentum, then you would be fine to avoid fall damage. But if you jumped off the building and then immediately tapped the revolver slow-mo and then released it right away, you would still count as falling from a very tall height, and so you could be susceptible to fall damage. Basically, you just need to use the slow-mo to stop yourself once you're not going to be in an area where you take fall anymore. So just use it like a bit before you hit the ground, and you should be good to go there. One interesting change that I really like is that when you have an item that uses durability in your inventory, like the new base boost gloves, if you're looking at other base boost gloves on the ground, you can easily see the percentage durability on the one you're looking at, and the number will be green if this one you're looking at has a higher durability than the one you currently have equipped, or red if it has a lower durability than the one you have currently equipped, making it super easy to tell if it's worth swapping them. You don't have to worry about dropping yours and picking the other one up and then comparing them. You can just easily glance at this number and see, okay, it's green, this one is better, or it's red, this one is worse. One thing you do want to keep in mind, though, is that the rarity of these gloves affects how many uses you have. So if you have like a purple one with 80% charge, I would rather have that than a blue one with 90%. So if you're comparing equal rarity, go with the higher durability. But if it is a lower durability, you might want to think about it a bit. If I had a purple with like 15 or a blue with 90, I would probably go with the blue. But if they're close on durability, I would probably want the higher rarity one. And these base boost gloves are a very important item this season. It is basically the main mobility item. I've seen a lot of players kind of not liking this item, but I would highly suggest putting in the time to get used to it, because when you do, you have a very good mobility item. It has two activations, your aim down sight button and your shoot button. The shoot button throws a ball of energy that knocks things around, and if you throw this at enemies, you can launch them. It does break structures very well. And then the aim down sight button just basically sends you straight up if you're standing still, or you'll do like a small dash if you're traveling the direction you want to go. So if you're traveling forward and then hit the aim down sight button, you'll do a small dash in that direction. And then the shoot effect can be used as mobility as well, but you have to face opposite the direction you want to go. So if you were walking straight, and you wanted to continue going that direction, you would turn around, shoot a ball behind you, and then that would propel you in the direction opposite of what you were facing when you shot the ball. So aim down sight, you look in the direction you want to go. The shoot button, you look in the direction opposite you want to go. It is fairly straightforward, and as I said, you definitely want to put the time in to get used to this item, because it is going to be the main mobility item this season. I think shockwaves are still in the loot pool, but they are very rare from regular looting. You still can get 4 of them when you turn one of the orange sprites into a shrine. So if you really want to have shockwaves, you need to make an effort to do that at some point throughout the game if you want to get guaranteed shocks. And there also is an NPC at Pumped Power that sells 2 shockwaves for 300 gold, but that is rather expensive. And as I said, the shrines are a bit easier. They're free, and you'll get hero points for doing so. So if you really like shockwaves, I would highly recommend making an effort to get the orange sprite, put it in a shrine throughout the course of the game. The Superman sprite, if you put it into the shrine, will give you heals. Even if you really like having shockwaves, that's great. I love them too, but I cannot stress enough that you should get used to the base boost gloves. A lot of times when we have items like this in Fortnite that take somewhat of like a, learning curve to use, there's people that just avoid using it all season if it isn't like a plug and play easy item like the Typhoon Blade or the Rocket Drill even. But putting in a little bit of time and getting used to this will pay off for the rest of the season. There is another mobility item, the Robin Grapple Glider. You can purchase this from the Robin NPC for 600 gold, I believe. He's at the building that used to be the Black Market outside Mask Meadows or outside the Rainbow Field area. And this is a grapple glider item similar to the Jules grappler if you've played Reload. But basically you grapple and then you redeploy and kind of fly around. One thing to note though is that you can cancel the glider animation with this if you swap weapons at the exact moment you shoot the grappler. So you'll have a regular grappler if you cancel that animation. And so that is a trick that you need to get used to if you want to be as effective as possible at fighting with the Robin grapple glider. The Utopia City POI actually has a secret launch pad. In this purple room here, if you emote, it will send you into the sky and you'll be able to redeploy and fly around. This is not like the greatest mobility, but if you want to travel out of this POI, it's something helpful. Or if you want to get on top of one of the buildings because, you hear people fighting or something's going down over there, then making use of this secret launch pad can definitely help you. There is definitely less red dot weapons with like a sight this season. We pretty much only have the precision SMG and the new DMR. And a lot of players aren't enjoying these weapons as much for medium range fighting as something like the Hollow Twister. So lots of players find themselves using the third person weapons like the Hyper Burst pistol or the Spire AR. And when using these third person weapons, controlling bloom is very important. As you shoot them, your crosshair will expand and get larger, and your bullet can basically go anywhere within the crosshair if you were to make a circle connecting the dashes. So if someone's close to you, you can just full spray, no problem. But at long range, you're probably going to need to tap fire with the Spire AR to manage your bloom and keep your weapon accurate. Bloom is random in the sense that your shots can go anywhere within the crosshair, but the skill in using these bloom weapons is controlling the randomness and limiting how much that randomness matters by controlling your fire rate, you know, depending on range and depending on how much of your opponent you have to see. If you hate dealing with bloom, the Hyperburst pistol is very, very accurate, and you can basically just full spray it a majority of time without really thinking about it, and you're going to get the job done. There are 3 new unstable exotic weapons that have interesting effects, and you get these by defeating the Demon Spire bosses on the map. These will be marked. It's similar to the mechanic we had in Chapter 6 Season 1, where there would be Shoguns on the map, and then you would get a random mythic from defeating them. With these Demon Spires, you get a random unstable exotic weapon. The unstable burst pistol gives you a shockwave effect on the first and last shot of the magazine, a mini shockwave effect. The unstable sentinel pump has stats equal to the legendary, I believe. I believe all of these have stats equal to the legendary. But the sentinel pump will alternate between making you travel faster after you hit an opponent or slowing the opponent down once they're hit. So it alternates between every shot, I believe. And then the unstable yoink shotgun is an outlaw shotgun that will pull enemies towards you if you hit them with the first shot of your magazine. This is definitely a weird one because that sounds good and all, like you shoot somebody and pull them towards you, but also you're pulling them towards you when you only have 1 shot left in your outlaw shotgun. So I'm not sure how great that one is going to be, but that's how you get the new unstable exotic weapons. The new crypto dog treat summons crypto to come and like terrorize the area, I guess. But you can actually use this to fish fishing spots because I believe it does explosive damage. So if you're in a pinch, you can fish with the crypto treats. And then the final thing I want to talk about is going to be the briefcase of patience. This is something that's getting a decent amount of attention online. It's in this shack outside the gas station in the middle of the map. And this briefcase takes 10 minutes to open. I'm not trolling. I'm not exaggerating. It literally takes 10 minutes to open. And so when you do eventually open it, you'll get a few purple or gold weapons, but I believe the lowest rarity you can get is purple and then gold as well. I don't think this is worth the time it takes to do it at all, but I thought I would, you know, mention it in case you are someone who was curious about what's in there or if you thought it was worth it. Don't really think it's worth it. And the loot is, you know, high rarity, but there's better ways to get high rarity loot this season, like leveling up your hero rank and opening the higher tier hero caches. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.